Hey guys, Dr. Brown here with Kubo Math coming to you from Tarlac City, Philippines. So tonight we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials. So this is an Algebra 2 course, and so let's get after it. So you'll recall when we talked about exponents in previous videos, if I have, let's say, a to the second power, well, that means I have a times itself 2 times. So I have a times a. So a to the third power, a times a times a. A times itself 3 times. So recall that because we're going to use some of this in a moment. What's another rule though for if I have, let's say, a to the second power times a to the third power? You can see the base, the variable is the same, but the exponents are different. So recall the rule, a to the m times a to the n equals a to the m plus n. So I have a to the 2 plus 3 equals a to the 5th. Now, if you can't remember the rule, how many a's do I have? I have 2 with a to the second power. How many a's do I have with a to the third power? I have 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A to the 5th power. So recall those. The other rule we may use, if I have a times b, it's the same as b times a. The order of multiplication doesn't matter in this case. So if I have 3 times 5, well, you know that's 15. And that's the same as 5 times 3. It's also 15. So those rules we're going to use in just a few moments. Hopefully everybody had a good week so far and you've been studying your math. Always study. Okay, let's take 3ab to the second power squared. Now, if we just imagine this is all x, and we have x to the second power, everything inside my parentheses, I can imagine it's x. Well, what did we say earlier? That means it's just x times x. X times itself 2 times. X times x. So that said, I have 3ab to the second power times 3ab to the second power. Now in the previous video we said if I have a pakwan, a saging, and a papaya, you know, I have to add or multiply like items. So in this case, 3 times 3 is 9. A times a is a to the second power. B to the second power times b to the second power is b to the 4th power. So 9a to the second power b to the 4th would be the multiplication of those quantities. Okay. Let's take 3a squared, 3a to the second power b, close that in parentheses, 2abc. Okay, this is very similar to what we just worked. I can multiply the 3 times 2. So I can multiply this by this. A times a to the second power times a, and then b times b, and I have no c. So 3 times 2 is 6. A to the second power times a to the first power. And what did we say that was? That would be 3, or you add those exponents together. And then b to the first power times b to the first power. So that's b to the 1 plus 1 times c. So I have 6a to the third power b to the second power times c. So nothing too crazy so far. Hey, give us time. We'll get more and more complicated. It's awesome. Okay, 3x plus 5. 3 times the parentheses of x plus 5. Now you'll recall in the algebra rules video, we talk about the distributive property. The rule was a times b plus c. I'm going to distribute a into those two. So that would be ab, a times b is ab, plus a times c, which is ac. Very same thing here. 3 times x plus 3 times 5. So 3 times x is 3x, plus 3 times 5 is 15. 3x plus 15. So that's the distributive property. Okay, so now another one that's a little bit more complex, but it's still a distributive property. So 5x times the parentheses of x squared, or x to the second power, minus 3x plus 2. So now I'm going to distribute my 5x onto each term. So 5x times x to the second power, so it's 5 times x to the 1 plus 2 minus 5x times 3x, which is 15 times x to the first power plus to the first power. 5x times 2, so plus 10x. So 5x, 1 plus 2 is 3, so 5x to the third power minus 15x to the second power plus 10x. So we've distributed the 5 onto every term, and you'll notice we kept the positives and the negatives, so you have to be careful of that. If this were negative 5x, now I would have negative 5x times x to the second power, which would give me negative 5x cubed. Negative times negative would be a positive. So you have to be mindful of the signs of what you're multiplying. Okay. All right, here's another one, AB. That's a bad looking A. Let's start over. AB. I'm trying to write larger. That was one of the comments people had, was my writing was a little bit small. So AB times the parentheses of a to the second power plus 2ab plus b squared, b to the second power. So now I'm multiplying two variables, ab times a squared. Well, I can really only multiply the a terms. The b is just riding along. So I have a to the third power b. So a times a to the second power is a to the cube. B times that is you just have to leave the b out there. Plus, now I have ab times 2ab. So I have 2 a to the second power. A times a gives me a to the second power. B times b gives me b to the second power. B to the first plus 1. 1 plus 1, that's my exponent. So if I look at b times b, that's b to the first power times b to the first power, and that equals b to the 1 plus 1. That's our rule. Remember, a to the m times a to the n is a to the m plus n. And in our case, those two numbers are equal. Okay, now ab times b to the second power is a, b to the first times b to the second. 1 plus 2 is 3, so it gives me a, or b cubed. So a to the third power b plus 2a to the second power b to the second power plus a b to the third power. So I'm just taking and transposing that onto all of those. So nothing new there. But understanding the rules is critical. That's what makes all of this work. Now then, let's talk about something called the FOIL method. So now I have two items I'm multiplying together, and you'll see this a lot, so you really need to understand this. If you look at these, there's a first term in each. Okay? First, outside, inside, last. First, outside, inside, and last. That would be these two terms. So let's work, we're going to multiply the first. So I have 3x times 2x, which gives me 6x to the second power. Now I'm going to multiply the outside terms. I have 3x times 5, and they're both positive, so plus 5 times 3 is 15 times x. Inside, so now it's these two terms minus, well, it's a negative times positive, so that's a negative. So negative 2 times 2 is a positive, or a negative 4x. So I have negative 2 times positive 2x is minus 4x. Now last would be a negative 2 times a positive, which is negative 2 times 5 is 10. So now let's look. I have some x terms here that I can simplify. So you could do it this way. I have 6x squared plus, I'll factor the x out, 15 minus 4 minus 10. So 15 minus 4 is 11. So I have 6x to the second power plus 11x minus 10. So this is an example of the FOIL method, and you need to really focus on this because you're going to do this over and over and over. Many times you'll be given this part and they'll want you to go backwards and factor this to the point you can end up with these, set that equal to 0, and then solve for the variable x, but we'll get to that in future lessons. So these are just a few simple examples on multiplying polynomials. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Be safe and keep practicing your math. I will say this every lesson. Practice, 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 so that together we can build a better tomorrow. Math can lead you to better things. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.